to start this Las Vegas Bowl. Thanks for being up late at night if you're back east, as we really get the bowl season going here in Las Vegas. A&M and USC, it'll be a touchback, and so the Trojans offense will come out on the field and start at the 25. And for Lincoln Riley, look, what does this game mean on both sides? For USC, I think it's an important game to try to establish some sort of momentum. 11 wins his first year in LA, down to 8 last season. This year 6-6. If you told Lincoln Riley after they were on this field on opening night and beat a top 15 LSU team to start the year that they'd finish the regular season 6-6, he would not have believed it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would. The way that USC team performed opening night, you would have thought that they were going to contend for a national title this year. 6-6, definitely not good enough for this USC football program.
Well, Miava's going to hand it off, the first carry of the game, and Amarion Peterson goes backwards, loses yardage. Well, USC, it wasn't a bad year offensively for the Trojans, particularly through the air. The pass game was prolific, piled up a lot of first downs their first year in the Big Ten. Inconsistent in a lot of ways, this SC team all season long. Miava, his first pass is completed out to the left side, and then a gang tackle, Kyle Ford. So 3rd and 4 for USC, first possession of the Las Vegas Bowl. Miava looking middle, throws middle, it's knocked away. And Eddie Chaplitsky, the Ray Guy Award winner this year in college football, best punter in the country, fair catch by Bussey.
Given the elongated bowl prep, that he's taken some really big strides the last 3 to 4 weeks.
There's the first throw of the night from Reed to Noah Thomas, and he's really, really fast. When he runs the ball, he is fast. There he's running it, and a great cut upfield. Reed across the 30. 3rd and short for the Aggies, and the handoff straight ahead. Texas A&M will get the first down. It's nice to see.
He will be on a bit of a pitch count, though, as he's still nursing back that foot injury.
Yeah, just not 100%, but he's back out there. Play fake to Owens, and Reed on the run is going to throw. And that pass caught, then a missed tackle along the sideline. Trey Watson.
I think it was extremely successful. At the end of the day, you had an opportunity late in November to play for an SEC title game. The foundation has been set in College Station.
How about a little fake pitch back on the reverse? Jabri Barber alongside Reed. We're excited to see more of him. He's got a chance to be a big-time player for A&M. And Bussey, SC's a little thin at a few different positions. They have some bodies at defensive line. Pressure coming. Reed is going to run. Marcel Reed. E.J. Smith on the field now at tailback for A&M, and he'll get the carry. Gets hit right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe got a yard.
That's how Colin Klein wants to play his game offensively. But tonight, Marcel Reed, with those backs being out, he's going to have to step up with his arm.
3rd and short. Reed throws, and the pass is caught, but low snap. Reed throws, caught, first down. Won the Aggie Hart Award at the end of the regular season, given by the A&M program. Owens with the carry straight ahead. Inside the 15, nice gain on first down. That is a lot of weapons.
A lot of talent.
Yeah, a lot. Reed in the pocket, dancing around, and throws low. So he avoided the pressure. And SC's defense was a lot better this year. Especially they were good on 3rd down. It's 3rd and 5. Little screen set up. And Barber cuts it inside. Jabri Barber. Game opening drive. Reed is going to throw toward the corner, incomplete, trying to hit Noah Thomas. Walker in motion. Reed is going to step up in the pocket, over the top, incomplete. Here in the first quarter, 3rd and goal. Reed to the end zone, and caught. Touchdown, Noah Thomas.
Just fantastic execution by Texas A&M.
3 3rd down conversions, 1 4th down conversion.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
No flag was thrown, so SC takes over right around the 25. And the run for Amarion Peterson.
To put some drive together, pick up some first downs, and get some points.
Miava keeps it. Miava gets hit hard. No Jonah Monheim, their excellent center, who's going to the NFL. No Mason Murphy, the starting right tackle, who's in the portal. A throw into traffic. Wow. 2nd and 10. A little pitch play, right side run. Well blocked by that offensive line. Brian Jackson. Handoff straight ahead and a first down and more. Nice tough run from Brian Jackson. Watching Capital One Bowl Mania from Las Vegas. The Las Vegas Bowl, 2nd quarter. A&M with a 7-0 lead. Another big hole. And maybe behind Pregnon again. Won that battle. He's coming back next year. That's a big win. Penalty flag on the snap. Miava, I think, knew he had some kind of free play, but he threw it out of bounds.
290 yards a game. Starts with the run.
Miava pretended to keep it, had a man wide open. Never in rhythm. 2nd and 5 for SC. Pressure picked up. They throw the screen and a nice catch with a lot of space out in front. Down the sideline. Touchdown.
And the defensive back in coverage on Lane gets picked off by all the traffic on the inside. Easy throw and catch. And then Lane makes one miss to get into the end zone.
Michael Lance lining up for the point after. 8 plays, 74 yards. And USC first touchdown of the Las Vegas Bowl. Front lawn.
That's fantastic.
I knew our cameras were coming by. Kickoff after the SC touchdown to tie the game. It's a touchback and was still a long way to go in the first half. Handoff, right side run. Ruben Owens.
You know, that's great to see. And like I said, one of those interceptions a little bit late. Ramsey made a great play, but then the other one right off of his wide receiver.
He's going to check down right side to Owens, and Owens good cut up field with that burst of speed. Daniels.
He's got a lot of weapons to play with.
Reed, how many new plays can we draw up for that incredible group of talented runners? Incomplete though.
Such a dynamic player for the Trojans.
Punt might be returnable. We'll see. Lemon, no, made a fair catch signal and catches it.
I did make the shoes with the USC Trojans, and they got very mad at my Texas A&M decal on one shoe.
Well, you had to be balanced, right? You couldn't have
on ice, and a lot of the players, I guess, are going to use them on display. But on ice, had you guys heard of that? Am I alone here?
I'm palms up. I have no idea what on ice means. I buy shoes.
And yet SC's really moving the ball on the ground now. They'll hand it off again. Behind the right side of the line, and plenty enough. 1st and 10, under 7 minutes to go until halftime. Miava over the middle, and a great catch in traffic by Lemon, and then making a couple Aggies miss. Leading into this game, there was a lot of high-profile news around the country about SC and all the players opting out or entering the portal. Interception! Trying to hit Lemon again. And Lemon got all turned around. The ball was on the wrong side, and B.J. Mays picks it off.
Miava, he is just getting his feet wet in Lincoln Riley's system, but watch if he works to number 2 in his progression. You're going to see that tight end pop wide open late in the down. That's one where you can't force the ball, move on in your progression, protect the football.
Very costly for USC. Instead of maybe a touchdown with just a second more patience from Miava, it's an interception. A&M now drops a pass on 1st down.
Yeah, and like I said with Miava, young quarterback. This is only his 4th game being the signal caller under Lincoln Riley. He's still learning the system. He's still learning his teammates. But in a game like this, ball security is going to be paramount.
Marcel Reed started off hot. 10 of 20 now in the first half. Not all that's on him. There's a completion, and a guy who's really not going to drop the ball. Jade Walker, who's reliable and tough and strong and has some words for the SC defensive player.
Just all the things with Walker. You just hit it, Flem. Just a fantastic season. He was injured early on in the season, but he's really come on strong in this second half, and the leadership that he brings to the position and talent and selflessness. He's definitely a go-to guy for Marcel Reed for a specific reason.
I mean, there aren't that many grad transfers who are out of eligibility who are still playing in the bowl games for their teams. Now, flags thrown on both sides. Everybody's pointing. No, it's on you. No, it's on you.
False start. Offense number 71. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's a big call. Chase Basantis big left guard. Instead of 3rd and short, it's going to be 3rd and long.
Yeah, and that really changes your play call here. 3rd and 3, going back to 3rd and 8 makes it very difficult on a quarterback and a play caller, especially when you're going against a defensive coordinator like Dayton Lynn, who likes to dial up exotic pressures and make it very difficult for a quarterback to protect himself in these situations.
Mike Elko, head coach, looked less than thrilled at the change of scenario here. 3rd down and a long 8. Pressure gets to Reed. Braylon Shelby gets the sack.
Just an excellent job by Shelby on the edge. Backup defensive end for USC. Just wins with relentless effort. You're going to see at the bottom of your screen on the left side. And really, this is a matchup he should win.
Number 15 USC has changed his number to number 90.
He's working on tight end Trey Watson, and that's a matchup a defensive end should win all day. I'm sure Watson thought he was going to get some help from his tackle, but with the nickel pressure, it was a one-on-one situation.
Tyler White, the punter. Lemon's going to come up and make another fair catch signal, this time at the 40-yard line. So finishing off the night here tonight in Vegas, 4:09 to go until halftime. And game still tied at 7. Handoff and a good positive gain on 1st down of 5 yards on the ground. For at least part of high school here to Las Vegas, then played his first college year at UNLV before transferring to SC in the backfield and dropped. Jackson driven to the ground. Solomon DeShields from his linebacker spot for a loss of yardage.
Just an excellent play by DeShields, diagnosing what USC is trying to do. And once he sees it, he doesn't hesitate, and he triggers and he beats the tight end to the point with McCree. He's had a fantastic season for the Aggies, making another great play.
So that changes things for the Trojans offense. 3rd and 7 now. Two seconds on the play clock as they get it snapped and incomplete. And a penalty flag thrown. Kyle Ford was looking for it. There was contact. BJ Mays, who had the interception on the last possession, this time is going to be called for a penalty. Was there enough contact period to warrant the penalty? Screenplay and the catch. The cut up field. Dragged down from behind. Gain of 5 for Peterson. Maybe even more reason why that penalty was so big. Handoff, and A&M maybe starting to, and about 7 in Aggie's territory. Pressure comes. Miava pass deflected at the line of scrimmage, and it lands incomplete. Torian York, I think, the guy who got a hand up there. Another play by the linebacker.
Well, it's a good thing York did. Otherwise, there was a big play to be had for USC. Miava did a great job of recognizing the blitzer, getting the football out on time, and Mekhi Lemon was open, and he had some open field to work with. If York doesn't get a hand on that football, that's a big play for USC.
I think that's exactly what the head coach and the quarterback are saying to each other. So this is an important punt here. Shaplitsky, maybe nobody in the country better at this than he is, trying to pin the Aggies deep, but he gets run into, but the ball got tipped. Now a penalty flag was thrown. Shaplitsky's holding his leg. I think the one official didn't see that the punt got tipped. At least that was the call I saw. Hopefully Eddie's okay. Huge.
I mean, USC is about to give the ball back to A&M. You mentioned it. A&M gets the ball to start the 3rd quarter. Chance for a 14-point swing, and here's USC knocking on the door with a fresh set of downs.
Hopefully the punter's okay. Now that is a very big play in this game. 1:49 to go until halftime. Handoff. And another good run from Brian Jackson. I've been impressed by this. SC happy to let that clock move. They're going to hand it off again. And this time Jackson just didn't have any room. Leaned ahead and got a yard, maybe 2. Torian York in on another play. The defensive captain. So under a minute to go. Coming up on the U.S. Marine Corps halftime report. Kyle McCord, his historic performance tonight. Navy with that great win against Oklahoma. And the college football playoff running back showcase. All that and more on our U.S. Marine Corps halftime report.
I'm surprised USC isn't playing with a little more tempo here. The clock's rolling. They have plenty of timeouts. I don't understand the hesitation on snapping the football.
And now they are going to use a time. Trying to get organized at the line. Play clock under 5. And they'll hand it off. Left side run. And I don't think he got there. He got tackled, I believe, short. And Lincoln Riley now gets word that it was short. So the clock is rolling. And he's not calling a timeout. So I assume that means he's going to. And now he is calling timeout with 12 seconds.
Timeout. USC, they're second. This will be a 30-second timeout. Please set the game clock to 18 seconds.
So 18 seconds now on the clock.
See the spot. That was a great tackle by Jayden Hill coming in from his nickel position.
And I think it was a correct spot. Now,
and if you know you're going to kick the field goal, like I said, run the clock down, then take your timeout to make sure it's the final play of the half. You don't want to give Texas A&M another opportunity.
So Michael Lance, who's had a good year overall. He has had a couple kicks blocked this season. This from 39 yards. Indoor on the turf, should be a good night to kick. And this one hooks. He missed it.
Good snap, good hold. Just a little bit of a hook. And here you are, 13 seconds. Texas A&M gets an opportunity here.
I mean, there's so many things about that sequence that just went so wrong for USC. But I'll focus on the last point that you're making. That's a bad miss by a normally reliable kicker. I mean, A&M does have a field goal kicker with a huge leg. The Aggies can try to get one chunk play here with all 3 timeouts. They could even run a couple plays and set up a long field goal try of their own.
That's right. The odds aren't in your favor, but there's an opportunity here.
Instead, they're going to hand it off. E.J. Smith runs into the line. And I think that's the way that the first half is going to come to an end. This year,
arguably the most improved unit in all of college football when you look at defensive statistics. Just a fantastic job by D'Anton Lynn.
A&M will have the ball to start the second half, and a returnable kickoff out close to the 25.
And I also asked about their Ray Guy Award winning punter Eddie Shaplitzi, who got injured on that roughing the kicker late in the second quarter. I saw freshman punter Ryan Sayeri warming up here as the team was coming out. Hadn't seen Eddie, but he said he is hopeful that Eddie's going to be able to get out here and finish this game.
Now that was a lot of info.
That's fantastic.
I could not remember all that stuff. Stormy, she remembers it all. Nobody does a better job at that than she does. Penalty flags all over the place. Let's see.
Start.
5 penalties against A&M. Only 1 against USC so far. Reed will throw short out of the backfield, but it's the wide receiver Barber who gets upended outside the 25. So it's going to be 3rd and long for A&M.
Yeah, and this is not where the Aggies wanted to start here on this first drive. This is where D'Anton Lynn and his defensive unit have had a lot of success tonight. We'll see what Colin Klein is able to dial up here for Marcel Reed and see if they can pick up a first down to continue this drive here to start the third quarter.
Colin Klein was raving about USC's coaching on third down defense, about how tough they make it on opposing quarterbacks. Here's another quick hitter, left side. That's Bussey, who gets into the open and gets the first down. That's why you said they got to get him the ball more often.
Yeah, and the chess match right now between Colin Klein and D'Anton Lynn is just fantastic. This is a catch and carry play. This is going to Bussey the entire way. You see the great blocking out on the perimeter by his teammates. And that's why you throw the football to Bussey. He can make one miss. He can get you some positive yards. That is a great pickup and a great play call by Texas A&M.
Gain of 16. So Texas A&M moves the chains. First drive of the second half. Tie game. Reed with all kinds of time. Throws to the tight end Watson. And that's another A&M first down. A missed tackle there for the Trojans. Inside the USC 40 all the way down to the 38. 21 more yards.
Yeah, and just a great job by Marcel Reed He wants to push the football down the field, doesn't like what he initially sees, so he checks it down to his big tight end, and then Watson does a fantastic job of making one miss and picking up some yards after the catch.
Remember, A&M first drive they had in the first half, 17 plays, almost 80 yards, and got into the end zone. They have not scored since then. Some pressure, but they hand it off to E.J. Smith. And Smith, another big run inside the 25, close to the 20, 17 yards on the ground.
Well, that's just a really, really good job by the left tackle, left guard, working a double team. And then you're going to see a fantastic jump cut by Smith. Just great vision finding the back door.
E.J. Smith now inside the 10. Barber from Reed. It'll be 1st and goal, Aggies.
Well, Texas A&M's in rhythm, and Reed's really seeing the field really well right now. USC brings pressure from the second level. Reed replaces it with the throw to Barber. Great throw and catch.
And going quick tempo here. Another short pass. Barber gets swallowed up at the 5. Got back to the line of scrimmage, no more. Wrestled to the turf by John Humphrey.
It was a really good open field tackle by Humphrey. Jabri Barber, one of the most dynamic playmakers in the entire SEC conference. When he gets that football out in space, he's tough to bring down. It was a really good tackle.
Maybe a chance for the Trojans defense to catch its breath a little bit. Last 4 plays before that one, 16 yards, 21 yards, 17 yards, 16 yards. Now it's 2nd and goal. Reed over the top toward Thomas. Jump ball, and he caught it. With a flag thrown anyway. Touchdown, Texas A&M. Point after coming, and it's up and good.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
2nd and goal after using a timeout from their own 10. Bussey motions in the backfield. They're going to swing it to him, and Bussey will get brought down.
You got a 6'6" wide receiver being covered by a 6'3" defensive back.
Reed going towards Thomas, incomplete. Really good year. Randy Bond, who can come back and have another year at Texas A&M. Set some more records. 27-yard kick.
In all seriousness, Jayden Miava, Lincoln Riley, they have to find a way to kickstart this offense, because what a stop by that defense.
Play fake, Miava going deep down the right sideline. Lemon there, and it's incomplete.
But the reality is it's not a very high percentage throw. You got to find a way to start getting some completions.
Yeah, 2nd and 10, not a great spot against this A&M pass rush. Miava just kind of flung that one. 6 of 18. And this one batted up and intercepted. What a play by Cassius Howell. Reed, handoff. Owens pushing his way down to the 5. He'll get stopped there. Reed throws, and that one's incomplete. Reed looking middle, throws, and it's caught. Touchdown. Now there is a penalty flag in the backfield. Spent some of their bowl prep working on celebration dances. We've seen some new ones tonight.
You know, I mean, I'm looking forward to all of them as we get a little squib kick here. But the one that really catches your eye is Ohio State, Oregon.
24-7, USC's offense has just sort of disintegrated here as this game has gone on. And off to Amarian Patterson.
The biggest personality and probably the most fun part of production meetings all season long.
He's pressuring Miava here, who throws, and Ford makes a catch along the sideline, complete for a nice gain before that play. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Lemon pitches it back. Miava going down the left sideline, and a penalty flag thrown, trying to hit Walker Lyons, the tight end. And a penalty against the Aggies. B.J. Mays, just too much contact there to allow the ball to get out of the hands of Miava. First down, SC. Miava thrown down the right sideline, and again incomplete, but here comes another flag. So the Trojans with a couple penalties in their favor. First down inside the 20. Miava over the top, caught, touchdown, Jacoby Lane, his second of the game. Exactly what USC needed. Extra point is up, and it is good. Just a sophomore. And the kickoff will head into the end zone for a touchback. Handoff. And Owens gets tackled.
He started dancing a little bit. I haven't seen much of that. It was nice, very refreshing. He's a human.
Yeah, you can't be. Jayden Daniels won the Heisman, having a tremendous rookie year in the NFL. Reed gets hit, and the pass is incomplete. Makai Lemon has not had many chances, but he drops the ball and then has to just hustle and hurry and get a kick off. And that ended up working out decently for Texas A&M. Not great, but Trojans defense has given this offense a chance. Handoff, Miava. Peterson, straight ahead run. Portal kid committed to transfer from New Mexico, Eli Sanders. Good player for next year. Miava, another hit, incomplete. Pass game it just hasn't been pretty for USC. They've had a good year throwing the ball. Now a flag thrown right as the ball got snapped in the backfield with Miava. And Brock just said it. It's 3rd and 1. Final 2 minutes of the quarter. Jackson, little stutter step and powers his way forward.
A big back, 6 foot, 230 pounds. Great hands. Can be a 3-down guy for you.
Miava throws. That one is caught by Lemon. What an effort from Makai Lemon. Good coverage there, and he just snatched it away.
I mean, that entire play is just big league. Miava does a great job of holding the safety with his eyes. Lemon does a fantastic job of winning at the line of scrimmage with his speed, saving a little space to the outside for his quarterback. Great throw and catch.
Quick tempo. They'll sling one out to the right side. Our best receiver all year has been Makai Lemon, and in his mind, no doubt, best receiver. A little dump down to the corner and dragged down. I thought Jacoby Lane might have a 3rd touchdown. As we start the 4th quarter from the 6-yard line. Handoff straight ahead, and a tough run spinning around. There's Brian Jackson again. He almost got there. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 1.
Boy, USC going with heavy personnel, multiple tight ends. This is just tough-nosed physical football, and you see Brian Jackson, you just said it, that is tough running inside.
That's old school USC.
Yes. Yes.
All this slinging around stuff from the last few years. SC is power football.
That was an attitude play.
Jackson again, touchdown. Now there is a penalty flag on the far side. I think it's going to be an offsides that'll be declined, and USC is an extra point away
Offside.
from
Defense number 56. That penalty declined. Touchdown.
Extra point is up and good, and we got a 3-point ball game.
With Brian Jackson.
Michigan wins a national championship on the offensive and defensive lines. Short kickoff here. Bussey is going to return it after the penalty, giving A&M a chance, and relatively, really considering it all good. It's a fun game. Two big-time programs going head-to-head. Reed completes one short. That's E.J. Smith. Quick to the line. Maybe a little adjustment to the call. Hand the ball off. Left side run. SC's defense stacks up. E.J. Smith, he's stopped a good yard, maybe 1.5 yards short.
Yeah, and Fountain's there, number 49, to make the play. We've talked about how talented he is, a young player himself, just a freshman. Texas A&M, they really hung their hat on running the football this year, averaging almost 200 yards a game. They just got to 100 yards. You got to give a lot of credit to Dan Lynn and this USC defense. They made it really tough on Texas A&M to run the football tonight.
3rd and a yard. SC trying to get organized on defense. Reed is going to run it himself. It gets popped, and I don't know. Extra effort. He's trying to get there, but the spot looks short. Easton Mascarenas Arnold, my goodness. He put a hit on Marcel Reed, and he's short.
Yeah, the leading tackler for USC coming up and laying the wood on Reed. What a great tackle. You see the punt team coming on the field for Texas A&M.
Wow. What a stop by USC.
That's incredible. The fans getting into it. You see the USC sideline. Mascarenas Arnold, what a play to force the punt on 4th down.
Because that spot, he's a good full yard short. Mike Elko, he might have been thinking about it. The punter, Tyler White, catches the snap cleanly. Fair catch, Lemon all the way back inside the 5. So instead of letting it go, Lemon catches it at the 4-yard line. A&M is missing 3 really, really good defensive linemen. Miava from the end zone is going to throw it into coverage. Intercepted. Well, I don't know what happened on that play, but it ended up being Dalton Brooks, really the only guy there. So SC really they'd grabbed the momentum in this game. Now Texas A&M, with 12 minutes to go, gets the ball back. Owens, nice cut. Owens, first down. 24-21 lead for the Aggies. Marcel Reed, their young quarterback. Another handoff, Owens again, and another good cut. And then falls forward inside the 25 down to the 22. He gets 6 more on the ground.
Boy, that's a really good cut for a big back. Just the body control that he's playing with. And to think that he's not even at 100% when it comes to health. He does have a lower body injury. He's battled back to get back. He's also been very impressive tonight.
Colin Klein described his ability as freakish. Second down. Reed gets hit, and the throw wobbled to the turf. The pressure got there in a hurry.
Yeah.
Kamari Ramsey.
And this is just a young quarterback not understanding his protections. There's going to be a free blitzer coming off the left side of your screen. That safety, Kamari Ramsey. Reed needs to know that he is not accounted for in the protection. He needs to speed up his clock and get that football out quicker.
So after that incompletion, now 3rd and 4. Handoff, Owens. Owens goes nowhere. Might have lost a half yard. Ramsey again in on the play.
You know, and that's just a play call that I don't understand. It is a loaded box. You could clearly see that USC is playing to stop the run. The wide receivers have one-on-one outside across the board. There's no safety help. Let's throw the football. Let's check to a pass. You're trying to run it where there's nowhere to run the football. But give USC a lot of credit for getting off the field off of that turnover and forcing a field goal.
39-yard attempt for Randy Bond. Snap, hold, kick is on the way. And he missed it.
I don't know if that's what it was, but what a first-class event. That was a lot of fun a couple days ago at the kickoff luncheon. Bands were there, teams were there, alumni. Very special event.
Peterson gets the carry on first down after the missed field goal. I mean, USC has hung around in this game, under 10 minutes to go. They're down 3 after an interception that looked like it might end up being, if not a backbreaker, close to it. Instead, they gave up nothing.
Yeah, and what an opportunity, right? You didn't give up any points. I mean, that was a catastrophe. Now we'll see what USC is able to do with this series.
Miava across the middle, incomplete. Lake McCree, the tight end, had his hands on it, but got popped. To 2, they get it snapped. Here comes the pressure. Miava zings one in there, complete for a first down to Kyle Ford.
It was a really, really good job of Kyle Ford using his big body, 6'1", 225 pounds. He threatens the defensive back vertically, and that's what gets the defensive back to soften up. Great throw and catch.
Now they go quick tempo, but that didn't really work. Peterson ran into a wall, did get a couple yards. Another tackle for Torian York, who is just a sophomore, but basically unanimously voted defensive captain for A&M. One of the better linebackers in the SEC.
Yeah, you talk to the coaching staff and they say, listen, he's not going to combine test when that day comes off the charts, but he's just a football player. Since his freshman year of high school, started every varsity game. Since he got to College Station, he started every single game for the Aggies. Just a complete ball player.
Again, play clock winding down. Miava fakes it, throws. That one caught by Lemon, and a quick turn upfield, out into the open. What a move, Lemon, down to the 30. Man, is he dynamic with the ball in his hands. A gain of 33.
Lemon is just a big-time playmaker. It's just a basic inside slot curl. Nothing fancy, but you see, if you give him any space, he's going to make you pay, and that's exactly what he did on that last play. Great recognition by Miava. He's starting to throw in rhythm. His feet are looking better. He's getting the ball out of his hands. And Makai Lemon, 126 all-purpose yards tonight, helping his quarterback out.
33-yard play. 24 of those yards came after the catch. SC down into Texas A&M territory. Handoff. There's Jackson, the freshman, back in. And when he's in and gets the ball, their ground game comes to life.
Yeah, good things are happening with Byron Jackson toting the rock tonight, but I think you just need to give a lot of credit to this entire USC football team. You mentioned it a second ago. Multiple times tonight, it looked like USC was about to be down and out, but they just keep scratching, clawing, and fighting. And here they are knocking on the red zone door, down 3 with 7 minutes to go.
It was 24-7 after that incredible sequence with the touchdown and the interception and the touchdown to follow.
Yeah, that's a big credit to these kids.
USC's got a chance to go ahead. Jackson, another carry. Bounced it left, cut it upfield. First down USC. Inside the 20, down to the 17.
Boy, this offensive line, they are playing with confidence. You have multiple guys up front for the Trojans making their first career start. But they are doing an excellent job here of getting a hat on the hat, giving Jackson an opportunity to get to the second level. Now we'll see if Miava and the rest of the Trojans can punch it in.
McCree, tight end in motion. Another handoff for Jackson. Cut it back right. And maybe a touchdown saving tackle. Another good run from Brian Jackson. Albert Regis got him to the turf.
Yeah, and you see Jackson as he's getting up off the turf saying, I'm that close, I'm that close. Just an unbelievable cut for a 230-pound back, and that's a credit to his vision. That ball's supposed to go out the front side. There he goes. I'm close to breaking a big one. But he sees the backdoor hole. He takes it. And what an impressive night he's had.
Second and 6. Aggies defense trying to keep USC out of the end zone. Jackson gets spun around and dropped. Down 3. Inside the 15. Miava in the pocket, throws, caught, and the reach. Touchdown! Jacoby Lane's got another one. His third of the game.
Is a touchdown to take the lead, 28-24. So impressive.
Well, let's see if the Aggies have an answer. Lentz boots one into the end zone for a touchback.
On the right note.
He's going to pass on first down. Pressure comes, and now Reed is going to take off. Reed gets sandwiched between 2 USC defenders, but he gets 7 yards on first down.
Yeah, and that's what he can do. If you cannot corral him inside the pocket, that time USC, they brought pressure. E.J. Smith did a fantastic job of picking it up. But unless you corral him and keep him in there, he's going to make you pay with his legs.
An SC defender was trying to get off the field, and the coaches sent him back out there, and I think essentially USC was playing a man short on defense. And the Aggies take advantage. Jabri Barber with another catch. Gets walloped short of midfield, but a gain of 16.
Yeah, that's a great job by Barber. He's working on Christian Pierce, who's a safety. Advantage A&M with that matchup. Barber did a great job on the speed out. Great throw and catch.
So Texas A&M first down close to midfield. On the move, down 4. Reed in the pocket, throws short middle. That pass caught on a nice move. That's E.J. Smith, who's really had a nice overall game. Another Texas A&M first down, 12 more yards.
Yeah, that's a quarterback that's growing up in front of our eyes. He recognizes the zone dropping linebackers by USC. He's not going to force the football down the field. There's nowhere to go. Finds his check down Smith over the ball.
Some tempo offense. Reed looking downfield, throws downfield, and that pass complete to Terry Bussey. So when it looked like he was going to take off and run, Reed completes it for 13 yards.
Yeah, really good job by Reed remaining a passer once he gets outside the pocket. He just doesn't tuck the football and run. He keeps his eyes down the field. Bussey does a great job of being friendly to his quarterback, working back towards Reed. Great throw and catch for a first down.
Well, this hasn't taken long, although the clock is moving. Texas A&M inside the 30. Reed is going to run again. Reed gets away, falls forward inside the 20. Doesn't do him any good. They need a touchdown. So it's 2nd and 2 for Reed and the Aggies. Reed throws toward that end zone. And, oh my goodness, what an effort by Thomas. He almost was able to scoop it in with a one-handed catch, but it's incomplete.
Yeah, and how about that coverage by John Humphrey? You're going to see the route here. Thomas and Humphrey working on one another. Reed does a great job of putting that football where only his guy could make a play on it. That's a good no call. Both guys fighting for the football. This game's coming down to the wire.
Yeah, now Aggies haven't been real good in short yardage tonight. They need 2 yards just to make sure they get another set of downs. Bussey in motion. They will fake it to him. Reed straight ahead run. Reed into the open. Touchdown, Marcel Reed. And Texas A&M goes back ahead. Dynamic. Big extra point here, and the kick is up and good. Bond's kickoff is going to go into the end zone. Miava slings one left side. That's Kyle Ford, who's made some big plays in the second half. Good start to the drive.
That's a really good timing throw. Just a basic hitch outside. Love how Miava gets the football out of his hand. Good start to the drive.
8 yards on first down, 2nd and 2. That one across the middle. What a catch. Not a perfect throw, but Makai Lemon once again snatched it all the way out to the 46.
Speaking of stars being born, Makai Lemon, what a game he's putting together. Miava does a great job keeping his eyes down the field, feels the rush, and Lemon holds on, taking a big hit.
What a catch. First down, USC. Miava steps up, throws that one again. Over the middle, across midfield. That's Lemon once again. Clock will roll, 7 yards on first down.
Lemon just has such great football savvy and feel for the game, recognizes zone coverage, sits down in the void.
Play fake, quick hitter, Ford gets tripped. And I think inbounds, clock runs, and he didn't get the first down. So now it's 3rd and 1. That clock is moving. USC's got to pay attention to the time here. They did not do a good job at the end of the first half at all. Handoff. And I think, yes, a first down. Just enough, and that will stop the clock momentarily.
Biggest thing for Miava here, you cannot take a negative play.
Now a ball knocked backwards. Miava took it out of the air, trying to get out of bounds. He gets tackled inbounds. SC has to use a timeout. Miava throws that one right over the head of Ford, incomplete. Clock does stop, but now it's 3rd and 13. You're not in field goal range.
No, this is a tough situation. You have to find a completion here. And if you're USC, you're playing with 2 backup defensive tackles. You're going against 2 great ends for the Aggies. Got to throw on time if you're Miava. 1, 2, 3, balls out.
27 seconds left. Texas A&M up by 3. Miava steps up. Downfield. Pass caught in stride. On his feet still. Inside the 20. Jacoby Lane down to the 13-yard line. A gain of 33 on 3rd and long. USC trying to get to the line and see if they can clock it. Now whistles, and Texas A&M was disorganized. They call a timeout.
That's at the bottom of the screen in coverage on Jacoby Lane.
First down USC. Now definitely in field goal range. Looking towards Lane. Caught and knocked out of bounds. He tried to spin around and reach that ball forward. He gets down inside the 2 with 12 seconds to go.
There's safety help for Ricks outside, but it doesn't matter because Jacoby Lane is 6'4". He uses all of that big frame to shield off the defender, plays the back shoulder, and great throw by Jayden Miava.
Now you get the big man, Brian Jackson. USC has a timeout, so you can run the ball here, and if you don't get it, you got that timeout. USC, though, didn't have enough players on the field. Now they substitute. The play clock's winding down. A&M sending their defender back out there. The play clock goes to 0, and a penalty flag gets thrown. Oh, my goodness. Miava looking left, throws a slant, caught, touchdown, Kyle Ford. Extra point is up and good. Jayden Miava has had a heck of a Las Vegas Bowl in a lot of different ways. 3-man rush. Reed throwing across the middle, tipped up and deflected. It lands incomplete. And now they're 2 seconds away from dropping this Las Vegas Bowl. Reed steps up, a little flip back from Bussey. Walker's going to pitch it back, takes a big hit. Reed throws it maybe forward. I think it was forward. So E.J. Smith is on the move down the sideline. He's going to try to keep the game alive. You got a couple players down hurting for A&M. Flags on the field, but USC celebrating a win here in Las Vegas.
Looking for a pass, offense. By rule, the game is over.
They started the season by beating LSU on this field. They end the season with a remarkable come-from-behind win against Texas A&M.
Yeah, not afraid to take chances. 3 picks, I think, but that doesn't matter at the end of the day. What matters is a win on the column. So I think at the end of the day, we all realize what we came to do in Vegas, and that is come out with a win, and I think we're all happy with that, and it's time to go home and enjoy a little bit of Christmas time that we missed. But yeah, just Jayden is super good, and I think we're in a good spot right now.